This video is sponsored by Sakurako.
Alright, so we got the 230 spoilers, and everything is completely changing in this chapter, but just let's get right into it, because in the end of the previous chapter, we saw that Sukuna was able to summon Maharaga against Gojo, and have him already adapted to Unlimited Void's sure hit, and breaking Gojo's domain. And now coming into this chapter, it starts with Meimei explaining that it's Maharaga, a trump card of the Zhoniin clan. Choso adds that this Shikigami could adapt to any kind of attacks, and Yuji asks in disbelief if it also adapted to Unlimited Void. So that's interesting how it's being phrased here. Trump card of the Zhoniin clan. Like, they were able to, manufacture it or update the 10 Shadows or something. Not really sure how that works. And I always was wondering myself, did they just get lucky with Maharaga being a thing? Or was he always a thing and their curse technique can, tap into wherever he exists inherently? I don't know. Scene switches to the battlefield and we see Sukuna moving because Gojo's Void attack was destroyed by Maharaga. In short, someone else took the sure hit effect of Gojo's Unlimited Void. Gojo deduces that it wasn't Maharaga who took that effect, and someone else was burned with it, and it was Megumi. Sukuna made Megumi's soul take the burden of Unlimited Void's sure hit effect instead of him. So, whoa, what a huge twist there. Sukuna continuing to play some 5D chess with Jujutsu, and the 10 Shadows especially. So first of all, him doing all of this interim Dharma Chakra user thing where he is somehow having the Dharma Chakra wheel active on himself and taking the hits for Maharaga so that he can come in adapted to them, that's already incredibly nuanced and advanced. But the fact that Sukuna is now also able to make Megumi's soul the bearer of it so that he himself doesn't have to take it is incredible. Because, of course, we know that Sukuna is inhabiting Megumi's body right now and has suppressed his soul. And I think the last time we saw that soul being represented was after Sukuna had killed Yorozu, who, of course, was in the body of Sumiki, Megumi's sister. That was all in an attempt to break his soul and suppress it and push it down even further. But now we have an update, and he still is alive, technically. The soul is still there. But now he's taking Unlimited Void sure hit? Not really sure how much this is going to affect him, but maybe he should be alright. Sukuna sends Maharaga back into his shadows. Gojo sarcastically says that he's happy that Sukuna is fighting so desperately. So this is like a twist, right? Sukuna's sending Maharaga back into the shadows. Maybe he thinks that he's still vulnerable against Gojo, and he's deciding to use him in an even more utilitarian way than just leaving him out and doing a 2-on-1 attack against Gojo. I guess that's what a lot of us expected, right? Maharaga was going to stay out, kind of getting a summon in a Final Fantasy game, if you're summoning Ifrit or something in Final Fantasy VII, attacking alongside with him, but no, retracting him. And I guess he's using this as a mitigator against Gojo's domain. Sukuna wanted to get rid of Gojo's Unlimited Void. When Sukuna wasn't using domain amplification, he made Megumi adapt to Gojo's Void using the 10 Shadows curse technique. And due to that, Sukuna wasn't able to use curse technique other than which was applied to his domain, Cleave. So more interesting wording here, referring to Sukuna's domain, saying that which curse technique was applied to it, in parenthesis Cleave here. Further going into maybe Sukuna's inherent ability, Shrine, is the ability to house multiple curse techniques. Gojo says Megumi's soul hasn't adapted to Unlimited Void, because the soul was only used in the process to adapt, which means that if Gojo uses domain expansion again, Sukuna has no choice but to summon Maharaga. But Gojo would make sure to demolish the Shikigami in one shot for sure. So we were also talking about this. So Gojo, of course, has to defeat Maharaga in one shot. That's pretty much the only way you can overcome him, because if you don't, then he's going to adapt to the ability that he survived. And we were wondering, okay, what is Gojo going to use? If Unlimited Void was adapted, then I guess he would have to try Hollow Purple or something. It's possible that he was already adapted to Red as well, since we saw Sukuna take a shot from Gojo before Unlimited Void and had the Dharma Chakra spin. So at that point, I guess it would have to be Hollow Purple or a possible maximum technique that Gojo may or may not have. Now, I don't think we've seen the maximum technique of the Limitless yet. But Sukuna laughs and says that Gojo won't be able to expand his domain again. And in the next moment, Gojo gets a no nosebleed. Everyone's shocked, and Yuta thinks if his bad feeling has turned out to be true. So yeah, we saw before that Gojo started bleeding from the nose. It was actually right after that sequence I had just mentioned with us first seeing the Dharma Chakra spin. It definitely denoted that Gojo was exhausting himself from everything that he was doing here, but we find out more specifically what is causing it.
But first, let's talk about the sponsor of this video, Sakurako. Sakurako is a monthly authentic Japanese snack subscription box. Sakurako is also supporting local Japanese snack makers because each box comes with 20 traditional, authentic, and artisan Japanese snacks, including Japanese tea and a special Japanese tableware. It also comes with this awesome booklet that gives you information on all of the snacks in the box, as well as information about Japan and its culture. This month's box is Festivals of Okinawa. Sakurako invites you to join the Festivals of Okinawa, Japan's popular tropical paradise. Allow your imagination to experience the warmth, Okinawa sunshine, and its culinary treasures with these Okinawa special summer treats like Okinawan salt senbai, pineapple mochi manju, and red tomato arare. All pairs excellently with the floral Okinawa sanpin tea. This month's special item is the Bingata Uchiwa, a popular bamboo fan. You'll see a lot of Japanese festival goers holding this traditional fan. Bingata itself refers to a textile dyeing technique originating in Okinawa and typically features a busy pattern of repeating nature motifs such as fish, flowers, and fauna in bright colors. So of course I had to try the tea that we get with Sakurako, and this month it's the Sanpin tea. Really enjoyed this one. It has a great floral taste and the perfect type of flavor for summer, and the teas always pair with everything in the box. Next I tried the Kokotu Manju. These are probably my favorite snacks that we get in the Sakurako box. You get the perfect pillowy texture on the outside, and then on the inside you get the velvety bean paste. Next I tried the Sawfish Senbai. This was a great salty crunchy snack. It's seasoned with Fujiya's secret soy sauce, so it really has that flawless umami. Next I tried the Pineapple Mochi Manju. This was like eating a chewy blanket, and I mean that in the best way. It has that amazing Okinawa pineapple taste to it. So if you'd like to get your very own artisan Japanese snack box from Sakurako every month, check out the link in the description and make sure you use my code Zhoniin. That way you'll get $5 off your purchase. Thanks guys. Because Sukuna says that Gojo overexerted himself when he was recovering his burnt curse technique with reverse curse technique, because it essentially means destroying the part of the brain where curse technique is engraved and recover it with reverse curse technique, which is a very risky thing to do altogether. So, more interesting wording here. The part of the brain where curse techniques are engraved. I think this could give us more insight into how sorcerers can have multiple curse techniques, like Kenjaku, for example, aside from Sukuna, who isn't fully confirmed yet, but we definitely suspect that he does, of course. Maybe it has something to do with the soul or jujutsu biology or something, but it seems like you can engrave curse techniques into your brain, aside from the curse technique you're born with being engraved there. And it's also explaining that Gojo healing his burnt out curse technique after using a domain expansion is healing that burnt part of the brain where it's engraved, and it's really risky, and he's already done it 5 times. Because going further, it says that sorcerers deduce that Gojo did the process of destroying the brain and healing it almost 5 times now, but Sukuna is okay since he did it less times than Gojo. And Sukuna asks, "You're reaching your limit, right?" Sukuna says that this time he will close his domain with a barrier so that Gojo can't escape. All he's got to do is just cut Gojo and adapt to Void. Gojo's nose is still bleeding and he falls to his knees when Sukuna starts to say, "See ya, strongest. A guy that was born when I didn't exist. An ordinary guy." And Sukuna tries to open his domain once again, but Malevolent Shrine immediately gets destroyed. Sukuna starts to bleed. Even though the time that Sukuna took the unlimited void effects weren't even 10 seconds, his brain still took the damage. The narrator explains that just like Gojo, Sukuna's brain room damage due to which he can't expand his own domain right now. Gojo laughs at Sukuna. And he says, pointing at Meimei's crows, that my students are watching me. I'm still going to look cool. Okay, so I'm a little confused, but let's try to
break it down. So the narrator explains that just like Gojo, Sukuna's brain root damage, due to which he can't expand his own domain. So yeah, Sukuna was obviously doing the same thing that Gojo was with healing his burnt out reverse curse technique after using the domain. And it said that Sukuna was okay because he didn't do it 5 times, but apparently he's reaching his limit as well. But it's also saying that even though Sukuna took the unlimited void effects, they weren't even 10 seconds that his brain still took the damage. So Megumi took the hit, or his soul took the hit to have the ability adapt to him. I guess that leaves room for Sukuna to be able to adapt again or something. I don't know. I'm going to have to really go over the actual chapter once we get it released. But this just also means that Sukuna himself had to bear the effects of unlimited void as well. And it wasn't even 10 seconds, but it really wrecked him. And we were wondering about that in the previous chapter as well. You know, coming off of it, it was like, is Sukuna going to be able to fight Gojo along with Mahoraga? Because he did get hit by unlimited void. And then coming into this chapter, we saw that he more or less tanked it, especially since Mahoraga broke the barrier from inside. But he still is affected by this. It was kind of like a delayed impact almost, but it really did affect Sukuna. So not even he is above unlimited void. This is actually, I think, the most damage we've seen anybody take from it, like bleeding from the eyes and nose. I mean, aside from Jogo getting his head ripped off after the fact and the other disaster curses just getting affected by it, I think Sukuna taking 10 seconds might be the longest we've seen aside from Jogo. We don't even know how long Jogo's time in the unlimited void was, but I mean, it could have been similar to Sukuna, but man, he is getting messed up by this. And now Gojo's getting his confidence back, and he pulls Sukuna towards him and lands a very heavy punch on his face. Narrator recalls Yorozu's lines to Sukuna: "I have more to teach you about love, and ultimate strength in the solitude it brings." So yeah, that's where the chapter ends. Gojo pulling in Sukuna with blue and then just punching him in the face, but then they kind of are like both smiling at each other at the end of the chapter with blood on their faces. So we're coming into the final rounds of this fight now. I don't know if the next chapter is going to be the final round, but this definitely means we're coming towards it. And we have, you know, some cards on the table, and we have a ticking clock for the both of them, meaning that Sukuna, of course, can use Mahoraga at any time, and Gojo can, I don't know, use purple or his maximum technique at any time. They both can't keep using their domains and healing their burnt out curse techniques as well. Maybe they could do it one more time and that's it. But let me know what you think about this in the comments, guys. And if you liked the video, please give it a like and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.